this, and this is me, kind of, yeah, I'm going to do some fantasy booking. A lot of people asked me to do, like what I did last year with TNA, doing, fantasy booking from, Slammiversary to Bound for Glory. I didn't get around to doing it, mainly because I didn't have time, and I just didn't feel like doing it. And I did the mega card thing, and I kind of got the juices flowing a little bit, and I decided, you know what, maybe I should go ahead and do that. So, here we are. I'm going to kind of do this now, so I'm just going to do No Surrender and Bound for Glory. So, there we go. The first part I'm going to talk about is leading into No Surrender, so there we go. So, first thing would be the British Invasion taking on the Motor City Machine Guns. The Motor City Machine Guns basically saying, you know, we want a shot at the IWGP titles. British Invasion saying, bring it. Just that sort of thing. And I think a real easy little feud between all of the British Invasion, Motor City Machine Gun. British Invasion goes over. Very simple. You know, not a very hard angle to explain. Then for the Knockouts title, I would do Kong versus Cody and ODB. The reason for that is Kong basically is pissed off because Diener's like, I'm the women's champion, and ODB's like, no, I'm the women's champion, and then they're kind of arguing, and Kong gets pissed off and comes out with Sareed, or Shirley or Melissa, under the burqa, and she challenges and says, look, Kong will take you both on at the pay-per-view, and so that's what happens. It's kind of a comedy match, but Kong destroys both of them. Kong wins. Kong kills Cody. And there we go. Kong is your new Knockouts champion, like I think a lot of people think she should be anyways, so there's that. Then we have an X Division match, Homicide versus Daniels versus Joe. Basically, Homicide says, you know, I want my my return match. Daniels says, no, you know, I'm the number one contender. So them and Homicide take on Joe for the number one contendership, or for the title. And the whole time they're trying to bring back Joe. They say, you know, why are you with the Money Event Mafia? Why are you this? Why are you this? You know, they're both trying to be sympathetic towards Joe, and at the same time, kind of like, you know, being very competitive with each other, saying, you know, I want the championship, I want the championship, that sort of thing. Goes through, easy match, and I would have Joe win this. I'll explain why later, but when I explain part of this, you'll understand why. Then Hernandez versus Angle. Hernandez basically calling in his shot, his briefcase, saying, I'm going to finally call this in. I'm going to do it the pay-per-view. I'm not going to do a sneaky way. I'm not going to wait until, you know, you're beaten and come out, because that's not how I want to beat you. I want to beat you man-to-man. Angle versus Hernandez. I think it'll be pretty good. Some people would be like, well, you know, you thought Angle should lose the title. TNA didn't take the title off of him, so it doesn't matter. So, that's all I'm going to say about it. I think he should. I don't think, you know, if it was me and I was booking the last pay-per-view, but I'm not booking the last pay-per-view, so there we go. There's that. Then I would have AJ taking on Nash for the Legends title, with, you know, AJ coming out saying he's going to start with Nash. Basically kind of doing the same thing Samoa Joe did when he first started taking on the Main Event Mafia. Saying he's going to start with Nash. He's going to start with the biggest because he's, you know, one of the smaller guys. He's going to take that Legend title because the Main Event Mafia, you know, holds that thing so precious. And there we go with that. Then Booker T and Steiner taking on Beer Money for the TNA Tag Team Championship. I think that's pretty, you know, easy and not very hard to explain. You know, just Beer Money being Beer Money, Booker T and Steiner being Steiner. Pretty easy match. You know, Booker T and Steiner kind of, you know, we're better than you. We got the experience. You're talking about, you know, however many tag team champions they both are. Blah, 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 blah. So there's all of that. Now, for the Gauntlet of the Gold match. At some point, they announced that to get back at the Main Event Mafia, because the Main Event Mafia has, you know, all the titles, that if they do not win their matches, those guys cannot compete in the Gauntlet for the Gold. So, you have that. So I would have Joe win the X Division title. I would have Angle win because I think he needs to have the title still. And then I would have AJ beat Nash with the title. And I'll explain what I would do with that later. And then I had Beer Money beat Booker T and Steiner. And there you go. So, and then I would also, when we get to the pay-per-view, announce that that Mick Foley has sold half of his shares of TNA to somebody else. Someone else came in and bought half his shares. He made a bunch of money. And he's now going to share power with somebody else. And he's going to announce it at No Surrender. So we go through No Surrender, we come down, and we finally get to the Gauntlet of Gold. Angle comes out. Angle sits down at the commentator booth, and they're going, because he's scouting out whoever his competition could be. Goes through the whole thing, and he's pissed off because, none of the main event Mafia guys are in there, and it's just the lowly, World Elite who he doesn't have any faith in. Guys are getting tossed out. He's going crazy. Particularly, it looks like AJ's going to win at some point, maybe halfway through AJ comes in, or maybe AJ goes the whole time, and you do this for an hour. You let this go for an hour. You let this be what the WWE often will not let the Royal Rumble be. And then near the end, or maybe the last guy coming out, is Joe. Joe comes out. Angle's all happy because Joe's, one of the last guys. Comes out. Him and AJ go at it. They're the last two guys. And Joe wins. Throws AJ over the top rope. Choo! Over AJ goes. And then Angle's all excited. He's jumping up and down. He's out in front of the ring, pointing at Joe, saying, "You're the man, you're the man." Joe's like agreeing with him. And then back behind him comes Taz, chokes out Angle. Angle's laying out on the ground. The Main Event Mafia starts to come out. They run off, and Angle is out. But before he leaves, he says his little line, "Survive if I let you," and out we go. And so we come to the next night, where now we have set up the pay-per-view, where it's going to be Joe versus Angle, right? And Joe and Angle explain that, they used the money the Main Event Mafia gave them to buy them out, and Joe gave it to Taz because he believed in Taz, and Taz took the money, bought half of Foley's stocks, and and now they have power. They have more power than the Main Event Mafia has, and it's going to be Joe versus Angle at Bound for Glory. I think that's pretty easy. That's always been their biggest money drawing, thing right there. So to me, that's very easy to do. Okay, the other matches I would do on this card. Okay, this one's gonna be a little weird, but just follow me out here. First of all, I would have Joe come out. Let me explain this. So let me explain the whole Joe Angle thing. First of all, I had Joe come out and say he's going for the title, but that the X Division title, which he helped make into a big deal. And this was always the plan, was to do this. Was always to use the Main Event Mafia's money because they always saw money against them. He comes out and he says, "This is the X Division title. I helped make this into a big deal. AJ helped me make this into a big deal. We both use this as a stepping stone into greater things. It's time for someone else to use it as a stepping stone to a greater thing. And that at Bound for Glory, the X Division title will be held up in an Ultimate X match. Throw whoever you want in it. Really doesn't matter to me, but there you go. So we give an Ultimate X match for the X Division title at the pay-per-view. Also, this one will sound a little strange, probably, but Beautiful People taking on Daphne and Rasha Shaheed. Basically, this sounds strange, I know, for probably a lot of people, but the whole thing is that the Beautiful People somehow piss off Daphne, and somehow also pick off, because she wears a burqa, they piss her off, and they both decide, hey, we're gonna both, kind of do, the geeks versus, the popular kids, kind of storyline. Very easy storyline. Just let them go out there, let them do their thing. Give the women, 2 matches on this. I think that is fair in my opinion. So that's just me. Ultimate X. Then I would do Kong versus Hamada, who I know no one knows who she is, but apparently she does debut next week, which should be awesome. So and she's very good, and I think her and Kong would put on an amazing match. So for for the, and I think that just has to be just straight up, just do an old-fashioned, you have them kind of wrestle in tag matches and 6-man matches leading up to pay-per-view. Easy. Then I would do Team 3D and Foley taking on Abyss with Dr. Stevie, and I kept trying to think of someone else to throw in there that'd be like a hardcore guy. I guess you would use Murdoch, even though that's not his name anymore. I can't even think of his name. I guess you would use Murdoch in that place. As they finally get through to Abyss, and Abyss turns on Foley for whatever reason. That Foley tells him, he'll never, that Abyss basically comes up and says, I've idolized you, I've done all these things, I always wanted to be you, and Foley tells him, don't try to be like me, I'm sick in the head, I'm all of these things, please, I understand, but please don't be like me. Abyss gets pissed off and attacks him and ends up joining Dr. Stevie. I know that sounds crazy, but I think Abyss is boring at the moment, so to me, this would be a little bit more. And then Foley, teams up with Team 3D to take on Abyss and Dr. Stevie and Murdoch. And, probably wouldn't be a great match, but you got all the guys on there, so there you go. Probably the weakest match I came up with. And then I would do AJ versus Sting. Sting, of course, and this would lead even before No Surrender, where Sting kind of takes AJ under his wing and says, you're the guy. You're the guy I want to see. I want to help the same way Ric Flair helped me. We get to Bound for Glory. He says, you now have the Legends title. That title needs to go away. This will be the last time we defend it. Either I want to walk out. Either I want to win that title because I feel like I'm the ultimate legend in TNA. And I want to take you on one last time. And if I can't beat you, if I can't beat who I think is the best guy in TNA, I don't want to be in TNA anymore. So do a title versus career match with AJ winning. So this would be Sting's goodbye, because I've never thought Sting should be in TNA this long. Then Team 3D versus British Invasion. For the IWGP titles, with Team 3D going back over, getting the titles back. Again, I think that's kind of a no-brainer. And then Beer Money versus Motor City Machine Guns, just to give both, Motor City Machine Guns kind of, a reward for being, good all year, and the Beer Money. I think that'd be another good match. I think it's a match a lot of people like to see. And then, of course, Joe versus Angle. And you have Joe win, and you basically, this is, for the most part, the end of the Main Event Mafia. You've now, the Main Event Mafia doesn't have any titles. The Main Event Mafia has now lost power. This is the end of the Angle, and we've now seen, you've kept leading up to that, to where the guys are just everything is falling apart going there. The world is falling apart around Angle, and Joe finally beats Angle for the title. And there we go. And I know that sounds probably very quickly and very crazy, but, I didn't want to go too much into detail. But that was just kind of my ideas. And if I could come up with that basically in a night, this was another point. If I could come up with both of those two cards basically in a night, come up with kind of a theoretical storyline going into it, you would think TNA, who plans stuff out apparently months and months and months in advance, about 6 months in advance is how far they plan stuff out, could do something as good as I just did, I would hope. But anyways, with that, I am out. Have a good one, and